Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to learn on informative speech where we will learn on how to inform your audience by using public speaking. In our learning checklist today, in these sessions, you will learn on the types of informative speech and the guidelines for informative speaking. Informative speech. So it is a speech designed to convey knowledge and understanding. So before you want to embark yourself to this public speaking, you should ask these questions before you want to start delivering your public speaking. The first question is that it is the information communicated accurately? Is the information communicated clearly? And is the information made meaningful and interesting to the audience? Types of informative speeches. So there are 4 types of informative speeches. Number 1, speeches about object. Number 2, speeches about process. Number 3, speeches about event. And number 4, speeches about concept. Speeches about object. Object include anything that is visible, tangible, and stable in form. Object may have moving parts or to be alive. They may include places, structure, animals, and even people. For example, comic strip, Grand Canyon, human eyes. So, we take an example of Grand Canyon. Your informative should be to inform my audience about geological feature of Grand Canyon. So that is the first beginnings of your objective, to inform my audience about geological feature of Grand Canyon. So do you know the canyon is full of hidden caves? There are estimated 1,000 caves within a canyon, but only 335 have been recorded, or 355. Only one cave is open to the public. That is how you're going to start to introduce your informative speech. This is the continuance. So if specific purpose is to explain the history or evolutions of your subject, you will put your speech in chronological order. For example, in 19 years ago, ancient Pueblo peoples lived in the canyon. 1,550 Hopi guides lived members of the Coronado expeditions, the first European to the canyon. So this is touching on the chronology of the object you want to deliver in your speech. If your specific purpose is to describe the main features of your object, you may organize your speech in spatial order or topical order. For example, the first of the topic in your body of speech, wildlife in the Grand Canyon. It is a home to 88 species of mammals, 56 species of reptiles and amphibians, and 17 species of fish. So that is an example for topical order. Speeches about process. What is speeches about process? A systematic of actions that leads to a specific result or products. Explain on how something is made or how something is done and how something works. Good specific purpose statements for speeches for about process is to inform my audience about how hurricanes develop, to inform my audience how to write an effective job resume. So that it is too, this is the good example on how to prepare a specific purpose with you using speeches about process. Informative speeches about process. This is the continue to let the listener understand your speech better. So when you are try to deliver your speech using informative speeches about process, you have to ensure to inform and to relate the steps on to one another. For example, to inform my audience how underwater robots works. So you will be explaining the basic tasks and mechanism of underwater robots, not to tell them on how to operate of, of you using underwater robots. Informative speeches about event. It is anything that happens or is regarded as happening. For example, mountain climbing, job interview, and etc. To inform my audience about the festival of Rumah Terbuka Melaka is also a good example for a speeches about event. It is actually to recount the history of event, and then you will be advised to use chronological order. You can approach an event from any angle or combinations of angle, origin, the feature, applications. So neither of these will be helping you to strengthen the way of how you deliver your speeches about event. Informative speeches about concept. To let the listeners understand your speech better, the concept will be include belief, theories, ideas, principle, and the like. They are more abstract than objects or process or event. For example, Confucianism's principles of feminism for human rights. So speeches about concept are usually organized in topical order. So now we move on to guidelines for informative speaking. The first guideline we should be take consideration is don't underestimate what the audience knows. In most informative speeches, your listener will be only vaguely knowledgeable at best about the details of the topics. So you cannot assume that they will know what you mean. You must be sure to explain everything so thoroughly and they cannot help but understand. The second guideline is to relate the subject directly to the audience. Informative speakers have one big hurdle to overcome. They must recognize what they is fascinating to them and maybe not be fascinating to everybody. Once you have chosen a topic that could possibly be interesting to your listener, you should take special steps to relate it to them. The third guideline is don't be too technical. Too technical means the subject matter is too specialized for the audience. The important thing for a speaker to know is what can be explained to an ordinary audience and what cannot. But when subject matter is not technical, the language used to explain it may be. For example, golf. So you cannot use terms that might not everyone will know. For example, bogey, bridge, or match play. Or financial terms, where we will use the word reverse bid, common call. Guideline in informative speaking is to avoid abstractions. So you will consider to use description. It is a statement that depicts a person's or event, idea, or the like with clarity and vividness. You also need to consider use comparison. Put your subject in the concrete, familiar terms. Comparison is a statement of similarities among two or more people, event, ideas, and etc. A contrast statement also will be held to explain the difference among two or more people, events, ideas, and etc. Guidelines number 5. This is the last guideline. You should be personalize your ideas. Personalize is to present one idea in human terms that is relayed in some fashion to the experience of the audience. try to personalize your ideas and dramatize in a human terms. So that is for the chapter 11 on informative speech. So today, you'll be asking yourself, what have you learned? Today, we will have already learned the 4 types of informative speeches and the 5 guidelines of informative speech. So that's it for our today's sessions. I hope you will learn something in these sessions, and then we will see again in the next chapter. Thank you.